The Yasna concludes. 1. Vasha the holy, acts the saintly Zarathustra. Answer me, O thou most eminent Zarathustra, what is, in very truth, the memorized recital of the rites? What is the completed delivery of Gathas? 2. Upon this, Zarathustra said, it is as follows. We worship Ahura Mazda with our sacrifice as the Holy Lord of the ritual order, and we sacrifice to Zarathustra likewise as to a Holy Lord of the ritual order, and we sacrifice also to Pravasha Zarathustra, the saint, and we sacrifice to the bountiful immortals, the guardians of the saints. 3. And we sacrifice to all the good and heroic and bounteous Pravashas of the saints, of the bodily world on earth, and of the mental, those in heaven, and we worship that one of the ritual lords who attains the most his ends, and we sacrifice to that one of the Izads, Lord of the ritual order, who is the most strenuous, who gains the most, who reaches most into what he seeks, even that well-timed prayer, which is the prayer of that holy ritual lord, and which has approached the nearest to us for our help. 4. We sacrifice to Ahura Mazda, the holy lord of the ritual order, and we worship his entire body, and we worship the bountiful immortals, all, and we worship all the ritual lords. We sacrifice to the entire Mazdayastian faith, and we worship all the sacred meters. 5. And we worship the entire bounteous Mathra, even the entire system of the faith set up against the Avas, and we worship its complete and long descent, and we sacrifice to all the holy Izads, heavenly and earthly, and we worship all the good, heroic, and bountiful Pravashas of the saints. 6. And we worship all the holy creatures which Mazda created, and which possessed the holy institutions, which were established holy in their nature, which possess the holy lore and the holy sacrifice, which are holy and for the holy, and to be worshipped by the holy. And we worship all the 5 Gathas, the holy ones, the entire Yasna, its flow and ebb, and the surrounding of its chants. 7. And we sacrifice to all the praises of the Yasna, and to the words which Mazda spake, which are the most fatal to evil thoughts and words and deeds. 8. Which designate the evil thought and word and deed, and which then cut down and fell every evil thought and word and deed. The Bazandas. 1 would think of it as when the fire cuts, sucks out, and consumes the dry wood, which has been sacrificed, sanctified, and carefully selected for its flame. And we sacrifice to the strength, the victory, the glory, and the spread of all these words as they go forth for their work. 9. And we sacrifice to all the springs of water, and to the water streams as well, and to the growing plants and forest trees, and to the entire land and heaven, and to all the stars, and to the moon and the sun, even to the lights, without beginning, to their course. And we sacrifice to all the cattle, and the aquatic beast, and to the beasts that live on the land, and to all those that strike the wing, and to the beasts that roam the plains, and to those of cloven hoof. 10. And to all the good and holy female creatures in the creation do we sacrifice. O thou art, Ahura Mazda, the skillful maker, on account of which thou hast made many things, the good things, in thy world. And we sacrifice to those male creatures in the creation, which are thine, and which are meant for sacrifice because of Asha Bahista, of righteousness the best. And we sacrifice to all the mountains, brilliant with holiness, and the lakes which Mazda created, and to all fires. And we sacrifice to all the truthful and correctly spoken words. 11. Even those which have both rewards and piety within them. Yea, we worship you for protection and shielding, for guarding and watching, and may ye be to me for preparation. I call upon the Gathas here, the bountiful holy ones, ruling in the ritual order. Yea, we sacrifice to you, O ye Gathas, for protection and shielding, for guarding and watching. Mine may ye be as a preparation. For me, for mine own soul, I call on you, and we would worship you for protection and for shielding, for guarding and for watching. 12. And we sacrifice to wheel the complete welfare, holy and ruling, in its course, in the ritual order, and we sacrifice to the deathlessness, the immortal being of the good, holy and ruling in the ritual order, and we sacrifice to the question of the Lord and to his lore, the holy chiefs, and to the heroic Heptanga Ete, the holy lord of the ritual order. 13. Prasha. Let the holy Zarathustra himself seek out a friend and a protector, and I say to thee, O Zarathustra, to make thee a friend, holy beyond the holy, and truer than the true, for that is the better thing. For he is evil who is the best to the evil, and he is holy to whom the holy is a friend. 14. And for these are the best of words, those which Ahura Mazda spoke to Zarathustra. And do thou, O Zarathustra, pronounce these words at the last ending of thy life. 15. For if, O Zarathustra, thou shalt pronounce these words at the last ending of thy life, I, Ahura Mazda, will keep your soul away from hell, yea, so far away that I shall hold it as the breadth and extension of the earth. The sun has, and the earth is as wide as it is long. 16. As thou dost desire, O Holy One, so shalt thou be, holy shalt thou cause thy soul to pass over the Kinbat bridge, holy shalt thou come into heaven, thou shalt intone the Gatha Usta Ba'ite, reciting the salvation, Hail. 17. We sacrifice to the active man and to the man of good intent, for the hindrance of darkness, of wasting of the strength and life, of distraction, and we sacrifice to health and healing, to progress and to growth, for the hindrance of impurity and for the diseases of the skin. 18. We sacrifice to the Yasnas, ending words, to those which end the Gathas, and we sacrifice to the bounteous hymns themselves, which rule in the ritual course, the holy ones. And we sacrifice to the praise songs of the Yasna, which were the products of the world of yore. Yea, we sacrifice to all the Sta'ata Yasna hymns, and we sacrifice to our own soul and to our Prabhasha. 19 through 21. See Yast 6, verses 14 through 16. 22. I praise, invoke, and weave my song to the good, heroic, bountiful Prabhashas of the saints, to those of the house and of the village, the district and province, and to those of the Zarathustrotemas. 23. And we sacrifice to the fire, Ahura Mazda's son, the holy ritual chief, and we sacrifice to the sparrowsman, having the Za'atra with it, and its girdle with it, and spread with sanctity the holy ritual chief, and we sacrifice to Apamnapat, and to Nairya Sangha, and to that Yazad, the wise man's swift curse, and we sacrifice to the souls of the dead, which are the Prabhashas of the saints. 24. And we sacrifice to that lofty Lord who is Ahura Mazda himself. 25. And we pray again for the kind once more with these gifts and ceremony actions which are the best. 26 to 28. See Yasna 8, 5 through 7. 29 through 31. See Yasna 60, 11 through 13. Or is that supposed to be 2 through 13? Yasna 72, like Yasna 61. And before we get into the Visparad, we have comments, right? The chief comment is that, remember that this, we're representing and we're retelling about interaction. It's not that we're worshiping everything, and it's towards the end of, on the side of, we're invoking as in terms of authority, mentioning authorities or good things that we're wanting to be a part of. I mean, certainly other people have other intentions, but certainly my intention there. I'm not, if something's going to intercede on my behalf, it's not happening because I said prayers to it and then it's going to pray to God or something. That's kind of weird. Why not just pray to God? The completed delivery of the Gathas in verse 1. This wall, though very ancient as regards to us, of course, is not genuine in its present shape. It was doubtlessly composed after Prussia Austria and Zarathustra had ceased to live. It may be, however, an expansion of an earlier document. And just as we saw towards the end, there is the old tradition that were around got reincorporated, particularly in the Achaemenid period. The Ameshaspenta of the Holy Ones, or the Guardians, of verse 2 and verse 4, the entire body. The heavenly bodies are thus termed elsewhere. The sun is called as I. Like this idea of the Purusha and that sort of thing. It's like, well, we know God through the universe, but we don't know the essence. We know the qualities of God. God speaks and it is. The word of God is the universe, you could say, in one way of speaking. And created pure, again, as we saw in another chapter, the holy institutions. The religion is perfect as is. But we have to enact things. We're created perfect, but are we going to maintain this? And there's stuff we're supposed to be doing with it, and that sort of stuff. Holy in their nature, shaped holy, and all the 5 Gathas that are treated as holy. Vahmyaka are Yasnanyaka. Yasnanyaka, Vahmyaka. Okay. And its flow and ebb, I don't know how that's supposed to be. That figures too advanced to be probable. And the text has been disturbed in the words that describe the water elsewhere. Yeah, I don't know about that one. He'd have to explain his point more rather than just making his point why that's too advanced, that the Yasna with its flow and ebb. In verse 8, we have the designation, and that which designates evil thought. So with the Pahlavi, referring to the word to the third car, and the root of kratu, the passive form with the active sense. See also, however not impossibly, might mean cut around, preparatory to felling. Elsewhere, we have rendered stems as a translation of the forest trees. Without beginning to their course, the course is in parentheses, not determined, like the course of a planet. Well, perhaps just not determined in the same way. From our perception, some of the planets do these weird things. Petals of the rose for Venus, and some of them kind of seem to, but they all, and the stars and meteorites and all that sort of stuff too. Of course, the meteors there's gravitational effects that are harder to predict because it's smaller and its orbit's changing and all that. But anyways, the vocative was expected after thy. O thou who art is in parentheses in a Hermasta in verse 10. And in verse 11, we have I call on you. Or I would invoke mine own soul. You're doing stuff to yourself as you're worshiping God or whatever else you choose to worship. That's really what you're supposed to be doing. Is you're supposed to bring about something in yourself, and it's not just you praying maybe greater, but it doesn't negate that your physical actions are necessary. And I say to thee, in verse 13, before it says in parentheses, O Zarathustra, because of course Zarathustra, or whoever the prophet figure is the first one of whatever these, you know, like in the Quran, you have the first of the Muslim, and so prophet after prophet, he's the first of the Muslims. It's like, well, that's why the prophets are sent, because nobody's really on the path. So, I mean, not that everybody's, you know, certainly there were people around that were better than they were bad, but, you know. But anyways, the rejoinder of fresh astra, or these are the best words referred to in verse 14. The section is a dialogue. And the holy as a friend in verse 13. See Yasna 46, verse 6. And Ahura speaks, and do thou. So Zarathustra is being spoken to. But, you know, just because we're retelling something about God speaking to this, or another thing speaking to that, doesn't mean that it's like, well, this is how we should. No, we can pray straight up to God. Acts. Oh, Ahura Mazda, this I ask of thee, speak to me truly, all that sort of stuff. But reciting thy salvation, hail. And, you know, I'd say a phrase, but even though I'd explain that phrase, some people take issue, but anyways, so in 16, we have refer to Yasna 43, 1. And in 17, the diseases of the skin, diseases arising from filth, of course, because things you have a choice over, that's what religion should address primarily, not making people feel bad about what they have, what's, you know, beyond their will. I've never been a recreational drug user or anything like that, but I think I've at least found I've found at least one Serenity coin. So, Yasna 35, verse 4, and 48, verse 6 is the actions which are the best, because that's what it's about, people. About being the best. You know,